Hello, my dear friends. Today I bring you another very interesting and meaningful story. As usual, prepare some tea. We will get into the story right now. Billionaire magnate Marcus believed he'd never have children, but his housekeeper shocked him with 2 kids. Before diving into this captivating tale, let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. Enjoy the story. Marcus Langston had everything most people could only fantasize about: an opulent estate, luxury cars, and an overflowing fortune. But within the grandeur of his mansion, silence resonated louder than the whistling wind outside. At 38, Marcus was a self-made tycoon, but the brilliance of his achievements could not outshine the dark truth he carried. He couldn't have children. This secret weighed on him daily, and at family gatherings, the stares and biting jokes about his inability to build a family pierced his soul. The society he lived in was fixated on a man's worth being tied to his legacy, and Marcus felt destined to fall short of those expectations. One restless morning, his thoughts led him to drive aimlessly through quiet suburban streets. Seeking escape from his gilded cage, he stopped outside a quaint cafe he'd never noticed before. The humble, inviting atmosphere stood in stark contrast to his lavish lifestyle. Behind the counter, a woman with weary eyes but a radiant smile moved gracefully as she served customers. Her name tag read Sophia Miller. She was a waitress and a single mom fighting to make ends meet. When she approached Marcus's table, his commanding demeanor surfaced, as it often did. Yet Sophia, unlike others, wasn't fazed. With polite confidence, she corrected him when he muddled his order. Her calm but firm words sliced through the wall of authority he had meticulously built over the years. That brief moment struck a chord deep within Marcus. Her honesty and warmth were a stark contrast to the polished but insincere interactions he was accustomed to. As he left the cafe, he carried his loneliness as usual, but now it mingled with curiosity. Who was this woman who'd shaken his worldview so effortlessly? An idea began to form. Marcus resolved to offer her a job, not just to help with his mansion, but as a way to explore the possibility of filling the void in his life. The next day, Marcus returned to the cafe, this time more contemplative than commanding. When Sophia approached, her curiosity was evident. "Can we talk for a moment?" Marcus asked, his voice steady but softer. "Sure," she replied, wiping her hands on her apron before sitting across from him. "I'd like to offer you a job," Marcus began. "It might sound unconventional, but I think your skills and dedication would be a great asset in my home." Sophia blinked, caught off guard. "Work at your home? I don't even know you. What would you need me for?" "I understand it's unusual," Marcus said earnestly, "but I believe it could be mutually beneficial, and the pay will be significantly better than what you make here. I need someone to help manage my household." After weighing her need to provide a better life for her 5-year-old son, Liam, against her uncertainty about such an unusual request, Sophia finally nodded. "All right, I'll accept, but I have no experience running a mansion. I'll try my best." Marcus smiled, relieved. "I trust you'll do great." The next day, Sophia boarded a bus to Marcus's estate, nerves twisting in her stomach. She thought of Liam's bright smile when she told him about this new opportunity. This was for him, and that gave her the strength to press on. At the mansion, she was greeted by Margaret, the head housekeeper. Margaret's cold gaze appraised her skeptically. "You must be the new assistant," Margaret said, her tone sharp. "Yes, I'm Sophia," she replied, her smile polite but hesitant. "I'm here to help however I can." "Well, young lady," Margaret sniffed, "we run a tight ship here. Let's see if you can keep up." Upstairs, Marcus watched the exchange from his office window. Sophia's composed reaction to Margaret's frostiness only increased his admiration for her strength. Though intrigued, Marcus maintained his distance, unwilling to reveal his vulnerabilities. Sophia seemed tough, yet he sensed a delicate side beneath her exterior, a side he felt drawn to as he grappled with his own insecurities. A glimpse into himself he hadn't expected began to emerge. Over the next few days, Sophia demonstrated her unwavering commitment, tirelessly cleaning every inch of the estate under Margaret's critical supervision. Margaret, whose sharp eyes never missed a chance to highlight errors, soon sensed a silent connection developing between Marcus and Sophia. Fueled by jealousy, Margaret started spreading malicious gossip about Sophia among the staff, and even to Marcus himself. Despite these challenges, Sophia found small moments of solace. One afternoon, while tending to the garden, she noticed Marcus watching her from a distance. He greeted her with a subtle nod, a gesture so slight yet warm enough to uplift her weary spirit. In those quiet reflections, Marcus began to envision a future he had never considered. The idea of marriage crept into his mind like a whisper. He wasn't sure why, but there was something about Sophia that stirred a sense of renewal and protection within him. Yet, these were just fleeting fantasies. The complexities of his reality quickly reminded him of Margaret, a woman whose lingering feelings for him and manipulative tendencies could complicate an already delicate situation. Still, his mind continued to explore a strange but conceivable future, one where Sophia might stand by his side as his wife. Sophia, meanwhile, was realizing that her challenges at the estate weren't limited to her physical duties. Margaret's overbearing presence and underhanded schemes created an environment where she had to remain constantly vigilant. Sophia's instincts urged her to tread cautiously and guard her emotions. Outside, the night was pitch black, but the Langston estate glowed brightly, casting an unsettling contrast. Inside, the atmosphere felt heavy and oppressive. After a grueling day, Sophia sat at the servants' kitchen table, tension knotting her stomach. Margaret's icy glares seemed to follow her everywhere, amplifying her unease. Suddenly, Marcus entered the room, his expression unreadable. He sat beside her, the silence between them making Sophia's heart race. "So, how was your day, Sophia?" Marcus finally asked, his tone casual but carrying an undercurrent of something deeper. "It was hard as usual," she replied, trying to remain composed. "The estate is massive, and there's always so much to do." The rest of the meal passed in uneasy quiet, the clinking of cutlery echoing unnervingly. Once they finished, Marcus dismissed the other staff, including a visibly disgruntled Margaret. Left alone with Marcus, Sophia felt the weight of unspoken expectations thickening the air. "Sophia," Marcus began, his hesitation evident, "there's something important I need to discuss with you." He paused, searching for the right words. "Yes," she replied, her pulse quickening. Taking a deep breath, Marcus continued, "What I'm about to say may seem unexpected, but I want you to hear me out before deciding. I'd like to propose a marriage of convenience." The words hung in the air, heavy and shocking. Sophia felt her stomach drop. "A marriage of convenience? With you?" she asked, disbelief evident in her voice. "Yes," he confirmed quickly. "It would help quiet my family's constant criticism. They've been pressuring me to have a traditional family and prove I'm capable of leading a normal life. You'd also be an ideal figure for my public image." Sophia abruptly stood, her shock giving way to anger. "How could you even think of something so heartless? Marrying me just to solve your problems? I'm not some object to appease your family." "I understand how it sounds," Marcus replied, his expression faltering. "But think about your son. I can offer you stability, a secure home, and you think that's enough?" Sophia interrupted, her voice echoing with emotion. "Material wealth can't fill the void of being treated like a pawn. I won't be a part of this." The silence that followed was suffocating. Marcus closed his eyes briefly, reflecting on her words. He realized how deeply flawed his proposal had been. Sophia exhaled, steadying herself. Even if I were to consider this, what would the terms be? Would I be trapped in this mansion, voiceless and powerless? Marcus softened, his vulnerability now apparent. I don't want to control you, Sophia. I just don't know another way to handle my family's expectations. But you're strong, resilient. This could be a partnership, maybe even a friendship. Sophia hesitated, her internal conflict clear. She thought of Liam, of the opportunities this arrangement could bring him. But the risks loomed equally large. The doors suddenly burst open, and Margaret appeared, having overheard everything. Her triumphant smile carried a malicious edge. Well, isn't this intriguing? Margaret sneered. I'm sure we can make this even more complicated. Sophia narrowed her eyes, sensing Margaret's intentions were far from harmless. What if Sophia has other intentions? Wouldn't it be risky to let someone like her get so close to you, Marcus? Margaret questioned, her tone laced with malice. Marcus turned to her, visibly annoyed. This is none of your business, Margaret. I'm capable of making my own decisions. Margaret let out a sarcastic laugh. Decisions, sure, but only you seem blind to the consequences. Sophia might not be as trustworthy as she appears. Who knows what she's really after with this arrangement? Sophia, stunned yet resolute, met Margaret's gaze with determination. Please, don't involve me in your schemes. Marcus and I are adults discussing this. I can handle my own interests. Margaret crossed her arms, a sly smile playing on her lips. We'll see, dear. But I wonder if you truly understand what you're stepping into. The tension in the room thickened as Margaret left, her presence leaving a heavy shadow behind. Sophia turned to Marcus, trying to process the situation. Sorry about that, Marcus said, breaking the silence. I didn't expect Margaret to interfere like this. She's relentless, isn't she? She certainly is, Sophia replied, her resolve hardening. But I know myself. I won't let her or anyone else turn me into a puppet. If I agree to this marriage, it will be on my terms. Marcus nodded slowly. I respect that. You should know, I don't let others control me either. This is just about silencing my family's constant criticism, nothing more. But only if you're willing. Sophia weighed her options carefully. The proposal was unconventional and filled with complications, but the chance to create a better life for Liam was too important to ignore. Taking a deep breath, she met Marcus's gaze. Yes, Marcus, I'll accept your proposal, but let me be clear. You cannot treat me like a servant or humiliate me. I demand respect and the freedom to be myself, even if we're married. Marcus's expression softened, relief and admiration flickering across his face. I accept your terms. We'll make this work, for both of us. With her decision made, Sophia felt a mixture of trepidation and determination. She wouldn't let Margaret, or anyone else, control her story. She was ready to face the challenges ahead for Liam's future. The wedding day arrived, a modest ceremony held within the grandeur of Marcus's estate. Only a handful of guests attended, and the atmosphere was a delicate balance of apprehension and hope. Sophia wore a simple white dress she'd found in a second-hand shop. It reflected her unpretentious nature, though her eyes sparkled with quiet determination. Marcus, ever composed, wore his calm facade like armor, though his gaze revealed the emotions he wasn't ready to share. The exchange of vows was brief, each word adding weight to Sophia's heart. I, Marcus, take you, Sophia, as my wife, he said, his voice steady but reserved. To Sophia, the promise seemed to linger in the air, neither fully realized nor entirely hollow. In the days following their wedding, Sophia and Marcus began to adapt to their new life together. Small gestures from Marcus touched Sophia in unexpected ways. He showed thoughtfulness when he brought home a storybook for Liam or asked her opinion about their weekend plans. "How about we spend Saturday at the park with Liam?" Marcus suggested one evening, offering a soft smile. His kindness warmed Sophia's heart. "That sounds wonderful. Liam would love it," she replied, her voice filled with enthusiasm. On the day of the outing, the sun shone brightly, and the park was alive with vibrant energy. Marcus watched Liam playing on the jungle gym, his face lighting up with joy. Sophia turned to Marcus, noticing a rare tranquility in his expression. It was a peacefulness she hadn't seen before, and it made her feel deeply connected to him. "Liam really likes you," Sophia said, her smile gentle and full of affection. Marcus met her gaze, vulnerability shining in his eyes. "You know," he began, "I've always dreamed of being a father. Liam is such a special child." Sophia's smile faltered as she realized the depth of his words. "That's why you wanted this marriage, isn't it? Because it came with a child, and everything that child represents for you?" "The perfect family," Sophia teased with a playful wink to lighten the mood. Marcus smiled, but his expression turned more serious. "It's not just about Liam," he admitted. "It's also about his mother. You intrigue me, Sophia. I need a woman with your strength by my side." His confession caught Sophia off guard, her heart racing. The man before her wasn't the aloof billionaire she had imagined. He was vulnerable, sensitive, and above all, human. The way he spoke about his feelings made her realize there was much more depth to Marcus than she had initially believed. Yet, even in these moments, there was an invisible barrier Marcus couldn't seem to break through. He was kind, but his smiles were often followed by silence. Deep down, Sophia felt torn. She wanted to get closer to him, to understand his sadness, but something always held her back. It was a constant battle between the hope for a brighter future and the fear of never reaching what she truly desired. Meanwhile, Margaret was determined to sabotage any chance of happiness for Sophia. She began spreading rumors among the staff, suggesting Sophia was a gold digger after Marcus's wealth. "Have you seen how she acts?" Margaret said, laughing with a group of employees. "Always smiling like she's enjoying the high life. Little does she know, wealth can vanish overnight." Margaret's words spread quickly, tainting the staff's perception of Sophia. Whispers and judgmental glances made her feel increasingly isolated. One morning, as Sophia prepared breakfast in the kitchen, Margaret entered and fixed her with a sharp glare. "You know, dear," Margaret began, her tone dripping with cynicism, "Marcus has always had a soft spot for damsels in distress, but appearances can be deceiving. He doesn't really trust you." Sophia felt her blood boil. "Marcus is my husband, Margaret. I'm not a damsel in distress. I'm a mother doing what I can for my son." Margaret smirked. "Oh, but don't forget, he might not see you that way for long. A real man wants someone who can give him a legacy, and you're not that woman." Her words cut deep, leaving Sophia shaken. Doubts began to creep into her mind, and she retreated to the garden to collect herself. Surrounded by blooming flowers, her son Liam ran toward her, a burst of joy in an otherwise heavy moment. "Hi, Mom," Liam called, holding out a colorful drawing. "I made this for you at school." Sophia smiled genuinely for the first time that day. "It's beautiful, Liam. Thank you." She hugged him tightly, his warmth momentarily pushing Margaret's venomous words from her mind. Later that evening, when Marcus entered the room, Sophia hesitated to share her worries. She wanted to open up, but feared he might see her as the opportunist Margaret painted her to be. "Hi, Marcus," she greeted him lightly. "Liam made a drawing for me today." Marcus's face lit up as he looked at the artwork. "This is amazing, Liam. I love the smiling sun. You're a talented artist." He crouched down to kiss Liam's forehead, his warmth touching Sophia's heart. But just as the mood lightened, Margaret appeared once more, her voice honeyed but cutting. "Oh, Marcus," she began. "Don't you see more than just a drawing? Your wife might not be as interested in you as she is in your wealth. And using little Liam to soften you up? Clever." The room's atmosphere shifted instantly. Marcus, who was about to make a kind remark, froze. Sophia's heart sank as she watched him process Margaret's words. "Margaret," Marcus said coldly, "don't start with your insinuations. Sophia is my wife and deserves respect like anyone else in this house." Sophia looked at Marcus, searching for reassurance in his eyes. She wanted to believe he was protecting her, but Margaret's words lingered in her mind. Later, in their bedroom, Sophia couldn't hold back her tears. She walked to the window, gazing at the stars. "Margaret is right," she said hesitantly as Marcus entered. "It feels like I'm only here for what you have. It hurts me. I don't want to be seen as a gold digger or someone taking advantage of you." Her vulnerability took Marcus by surprise. He stepped closer, his voice soft. "Sophia, you mean so much more to me than that. Don't believe anything Margaret says. I'm trying to figure this out too, our life together. But I'll admit, I'm struggling to open up." He hesitated, his hands brushing his face. "The truth is, I'm not as strong as I seem. I need you, but I'm scared to let myself be vulnerable." His honesty touched Sophia deeply. She realized their barriers were more alike than she thought. "We need each other, Marcus," she said, her voice steady despite her tears. "If we're going to make this work, we have to tear down these walls together. We can create something beautiful together, but it takes trust." "I can't do this alone," Sophia said softly. Marcus looked at her for a long moment, and she saw something flicker in his eyes, a silent promise to try. "From now on, I'll be honest with you as much as I can." "Let's work on this together," Marcus said. The room fell silent, and the walls that had seemed so unbreakable began to crack. Sophia felt that perhaps their connection could grow despite Margaret's manipulations, but she knew she had to remain vigilant. Margaret wouldn't give up so easily. Even as new challenges loomed, Sophia felt strong enough to face them. She was beginning to see the depth beneath Marcus's cold exterior, and that realization was the first step toward a future they could build, one day at a time. Life at Marcus's estate slowly took on a new rhythm. Despite Margaret's constant spiteful remarks, the relationship between Sophia and Marcus started to develop. But the tense atmosphere created by the staff's gossip was becoming unbearable. One morning, while pouring coffee in the kitchen, Sophia overheard two employees whispering. "Did you hear Marcus's new wife is pregnant?" one said. "It's definitely not his," the other replied, followed by scandalized laughter. Sophia's heart raced. Who would spread such a cruel lie? It had to be Margaret. Determined to confront the issue, she went to find Marcus in the living room, where he was reviewing documents. "Marcus, we need to talk," she said, struggling to keep the anxiety from her voice. "About what?" he asked, looking up, his fatigue evident. "I'm hearing rumors. Margaret is spreading lies, saying I'm pregnant by another man." "That's not true," Sophia said, her indignation clear. Marcus froze, his expression shifting from surprise to confusion. "Is that all you have to say? I can't believe you're letting her lies dictate this conversation." "Marcus, please," Sophia pleaded. "This is no joke. Margaret is trying to drive us apart. You can't ignore what she's doing. What do you expect me to do?" "The house is buzzing with whispers. I don't know who to trust," Marcus admitted, frustration clear in his voice. "Do you honestly think I would do something like that?" "I'm not the person Margaret is making me out to be," Sophia said, her voice breaking. "We can overcome this together," Sophia continued, her tone desperate. "I'm learning to care about you, Marcus, and I want to build something real with you. But I need you to stand by my side." Marcus ran a hand through his hair, conflicted emotions flickering in his eyes. Fine, Sophia. I'll give you a chance. But you have to understand. I've been alone for so long. I'm scared of being hurt again. Sophia took a deep breath. If you're willing to listen, I can show you the truth. The tension hung heavy between them until Marcus finally spoke. I'm sterile, Sophia. I can't have children. His confession was like a thunderclap, the pain in his voice unmistakable. So if you're pregnant, it can't be mine. Sophia froze, his words echoing in her mind. Shock quickly gave way to anger. Marcus, I would never play with your feelings. You have to believe me. Margaret is lying. I'm your wife, and I promise to stand by you, she said, her voice trembling with emotion. But Marcus's eyes turned cold, his face shutting down. How can I know that? My past has taught me to be cautious. Sophia's vulnerability was laid bare. I'm here to build a family with you, not to destroy it. But your mistrust is breaking us apart. After a long, suffocating silence, Sophia whispered, I can't stay here. Not like this. I need space to breathe. I need to protect my son and myself. You're leaving me? After everything? What will you do? Marcus asked, his voice rising in desperation. Yes, Marcus. I'm leaving, and I'm taking Liam with me. I can't stay in a place where I'm not believed, where trust doesn't exist, Sophia replied, tears streaming down her face. Marcus's eyes filled with pain and confusion, but Sophia no longer believed in him. Margaret's manipulations had poisoned everything. Sophia, Marcus began, his voice cracking, don't go, please. But Sophia stood firm. I tried, Marcus. I gave you my loyalty and love, but all you see are Margaret's lies. I can't be a burden in your life. Her words hit him like daggers. Without another word, Sophia grabbed Liam's hand, her heart breaking as they walked toward the door. If you walk out that door, I don't know if there will be another chance, Marcus said, his voice trembling. I don't know if you'll find someone who loves you like I do. But Sophia didn't look back. She opened the door and stepped out, carrying her son in the hope for a fresh start. Love isn't just about saying the words. It's about trust and support, and you're not giving me that, Sophia said firmly, her voice steady despite the tears in her eyes. Margaret may think this is a game, but my life isn't a game, and Liam deserves better. With those words, Sophia left the mansion, carrying the weight of her shattered dreams. As she passed through the grand gates, she glanced back one last time. Marcus was still standing there, his expression a mix of confusion and helplessness. Goodbye, Marcus, she whispered, her heart breaking as she turned away. Freedom lay ahead, but the pain of leaving Marcus and all they could have built together would follow her. She vowed never to return, never to allow manipulation and distrust to harm her or Liam again. Above all, she promised to give her son a brighter future, far from the shadows of the life she was leaving behind. Meanwhile, Marcus sat in his office, surrounded by piles of documents, the silence around him deafening. Sophia's departure left him in turmoil, her words replaying in his mind. Each passing minute deepened his regret as he realized how much he had let Margaret manipulate him. How could I have believed her? Marcus murmured, slamming his hand on the desk. Memories of the tender moments he had shared with Sophia and Liam began surfacing. Liam's laughter, Sophia's quiet strength. Those were real. That was love. Not the twisted, toxic web Margaret had spun. Determined to set things right, Marcus stormed down the hallway to Margaret's office. He found her sorting through papers, her face void of remorse. We need to talk, Margaret, he said, his tone firm. She looked up with a smug expression. If this is about Sophia, I'm sorry, but she's not worthy of your trust. I was only trying to protect you. Protect me? Marcus snapped. You've done nothing but betray me. You spread lies about her, didn't you? You're the one who started the rumors, aren't you? Margaret's confident demeanor faltered. You can't seriously think I'd do that. All I've ever done is look out for you. Marcus stepped closer, his voice resolute. No, Margaret. You've tried to control me. You've manipulated me for your own gain. And you've cost me the one thing that mattered most, my family. Margaret's frustration bubbled to the surface. Because I was never enough for you, Marcus. I saw how you looked at her. She gave you what I never could, a real life, a family. I just wanted what should have been mine. Marcus felt a chill run through him. Your jealousy doesn't justify your lies. You've destroyed everything between us with your manipulations. You're dismissed, Margaret. Leave and never come back. Her face twisted with fury. You can't do this to me. If Sophia doesn't return, it's on you, Marcus, not me. Enough, Marcus said coldly. You're not welcome here anymore. Leave. As Margaret stormed out, Marcus felt a weight lift from his shoulders. But the emptiness Sophia left behind remained. Determined to make things right, he knew he had to find her and prove his love. As he walked out to his car, a folded piece of paper caught his attention, tucked under the windshield wiper. He unfolded it and froze. It was a note written by Liam, addressed to Sophia, but one sentence struck him deeply. Mommy, I love you and our new family with Daddy Marcus. The words echoed in his mind, replacing his panic with clarity. Liam considered him his father, and that realization reshaped everything. Fatherhood didn't require a biological connection. It was about love, trust, and commitment. Marcus felt a whirlwind of emotions, regret, hope, and an overwhelming need to make things right. Grabbing his phone, he reached out to friends and acquaintances, hoping someone knew where Sophia had gone. Hours later, he got a lead, a small town just a few hours away. As the sun set, Marcus found himself in a modest neighborhood filled with small shops and the smell of fresh coffee. Passing a clothing store, his heart skipped a beat when he saw a familiar figure behind the counter. It was Sophia, arranging t-shirts with her usual grace. Sophia, Marcus called, his voice filled with hope. She looked up, her eyes meeting his. For a moment, the world seemed to pause. Marcus saw a mix of surprise and distrust in Sophia's eyes. What are you doing here, Marcus? She asked sharply, though sadness lingered beneath her tone. I came to find you. We need to talk, he said, shifting nervously. About us. About what happened. I'm sorry. Sophia crossed her arms, her reluctance clear. You think you can just show up out of nowhere and everything will be fine? You hurt me, Marcus. I don't know if I can forgive you. I know I hurt you, he admitted, his voice heavy with regret. I let Margaret manipulate me, and I let her lies affect my judgment. I let you go without fighting for you. And what am I supposed to do with that? Sophia shot back, her gaze unwavering. Do you really think an apology is enough to fix everything? Marcus took a deep breath, his determination growing. Not just an apology. I want to build a new life with you, and with our child. I know I made mistakes, but I'm ready to change. Sophia's expression softened slightly, curiosity flickering in her eyes. Our child? She asked, though doubt still lingered. What do you mean by that? I found Liam's note, Marcus began, but Sophia interrupted him. There's something you need to know, she said, her voice steady but her eyes brimming with emotion. I'm pregnant, with twins. I went through an experimental procedure to give us a chance at the family we dreamed of. Marcus stood frozen, her words striking him like lightning. Pregnant with twins? An experimental procedure? He repeated, his voice a mix of shock and awe. Why didn't you tell me sooner? He asked, his emotions swirling. Sophia's gaze stayed steady, though tears glistened in her eyes. Because I wasn't sure it would work. And after everything, I didn't know if I could count on you to stand by me. Marcus felt a surge of admiration and love for Sophia. You did this for us. That's incredible, he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. You took such a risk to give us a chance. I did it because I believed in us, Sophia replied, her voice fragile but firm. But now, after everything, I'm not sure if you truly want this. Marcus stepped closer, his urgency clear. Sophia, I want this. I want you, our children, our family. I know I failed you, but I promise I won't make that mistake again. Tears streamed down Sophia's face. What if you leave again? What if Margaret or someone else interferes? What happens to us then? I promise I won't leave. I'll fight for us every day, Marcus declared, his voice resolute. Please, give me a chance to prove I can be the husband and father you need. Marcus knelt before her, sincerity etched into his face. Let me back into your life. Let me help build the future we always dreamed of. Sophia studied him, pain and hope swirling in her heart. I want to believe you, Marcus, but the wounds are still fresh. Trust takes time to rebuild. I understand, he said. I don't expect forgiveness overnight, but I'll do whatever it takes to regain your trust. I want to be better for you, for Liam, and for our twins. Sophia hesitated, her voice trembling. This pregnancy won't be easy, Marcus. I can't go through it alone. Not again. You won't have to, he replied. We'll face it together. This isn't just about me. It's about us and the family we're building. I want to be there every step of the way. Sophia's expression softened, Marcus's words finally reaching her. While the road ahead would be challenging, a spark of hope began to grow between them. As time passed and Sophia began to feel safer with Marcus, they were truly building a new life together. Finally, the long-awaited day arrived, the birth of their twins, a moment filled with overwhelming emotion for everyone. After hours of labor, Sophia gave birth to two healthy, beautiful baby boys. The instant Marcus held the babies in his arms for the first time, a powerful wave of love swept over him. He looked at Sophia, exhausted but radiant, and exclaimed with a voice full of emotion, "We did it, my love. They're beautiful." Sophia smiled, her eyes brimming with tears of joy. "Yes, they're perfect, and they're ours." Marcus gazed down at the tiny faces of the boys, their eyes barely open. "What should we name them?" he asked, his admiration evident. "I was thinking Eduardo and Mateo," Sophia suggested, feeling a deep connection to her father's memory through the names. "What do you think?" "Eduardo and Mateo, such beautiful names," Marcus replied. "And I want you to know, I'll do everything to keep our family united. Margaret will never interfere with our lives again." Sophia nodded, knowing the importance of staying firm. "We need to make that clear. Our family comes first now." As the days passed, Marcus embraced fatherhood with a love he hadn't known was possible. Every smile, cry, and tiny moment with the twins deepened his bond with them. One morning, as he fed the babies, Sophia watched him with admiration. "I never imagined you'd be so good with them," she said with a smile. Marcus looked up, his eyes soft with emotion. "Neither did I, but this love is different, Sophia. It's deeper than I ever imagined. It's made me realize what truly matters." But thoughts of Margaret lingered in the back of his mind. On a particularly bright day, Marcus decided it was time to confront her once and for all. When he arrived at Margaret's house, she greeted him with a forced smile. "Marcus, it's so good to see you," she said, attempting friendliness. "We need to talk," he said firmly. "My life has changed, and I won't let you interfere anymore. Sophia, Liam, and the twins are my priority now, and that's not going to change." Margaret's smile faltered, replaced by surprise and a hint of anger. "You're being impulsive. I've always been there for you. What makes you think this life you're living is real?" Because I know the value of what Sophia and I have built, Marcus replied resolutely. And that doesn't include you or your lies. Margaret's expression twisted with frustration. You think she's the answer to everything? She's not. You'll regret this, Marcus. But Marcus didn't waver. You've manipulated me for the last time, Margaret. This is goodbye. With those words, Marcus turned and walked away, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. He knew now that Margaret's influence no longer had any hold on his life. When Marcus returned home later that afternoon, he found Sophia on the couch holding Liam, while the twins slept peacefully in their cribs. The quiet happiness of the scene filled the room. How did it go? Sophia asked, curious but calm. I dealt with unfinished business, Marcus said, a note of relief in his voice. I made it clear there's no more space for Margaret in our lives. Sophia smiled, admiration shining in her eyes. You did the right thing. We can't let the past pull us away from what we're building. Marcus sat beside her, gazing at their children. Look at them, Sophia. They're everything I've ever dreamed of. Now I understand what it truly means to be a father. Love that's unconditional and pure. Sophia looked at the boys, her heart full of joy. And it's a love we'll nurture together. We're ready for this. That night, as Marcus held the twins in his arms, a feeling of fulfillment overwhelmed him. Sophia sat beside him, her presence grounding him in the moment. Can I just hold them like this for a little longer? Marcus asked, his voice soft. I need this moment. Of course, love, Sophia said gently, watching the man she loved fully embrace fatherhood. As Marcus gazed at his children and felt the love surrounding him, he thought about the future they were building together. Hey, Sophia, he said quietly, do you remember how we used to dream about this? Each new day starts now, and we'll share it all together. Sophia smiled, her eyes shining. Yes, and we will. We'll build it one day at a time. In the stillness of the night, the home they had created pulsed with life. Marcus knew challenges would come, but together, with love and trust, they could weather anything. Over the months, the mansion transformed. What was once a cold and uncertain space now resonated with laughter, warmth, and love. The scent of fresh-baked cookies often filled the air, and the once pristine garden now bloomed with vibrant flowers, reflecting the joy inside the home. Marcus, once judged by those around him, was now seen in a different light. Gatherings that had been filled with critical stares were now full of admiration. He wasn't just successful. He was happy, kind, and fulfilled. One sunny afternoon, Marcus decided to host a small gathering at the mansion. He wanted everyone to witness the life he and Sophia had built firsthand. The home Marcus and Sophia had built together was alive with joy as they prepared for the event. Sophia looked at Marcus, noticing the sparkle in his eyes as he flipped burgers on the grill. You seem really happy, Sophia said with a radiant smile. I never imagined seeing you change so much, especially in front of others. Marcus paused, admiring the woman by his side. It's because you showed me that love is what truly gives life meaning. The courage to face our challenges together brought me here, he replied, his voice full of sincerity. As guests began to arrive, including Marcus's family, he felt a slight nervousness. But as he looked around and saw Liam happily running through the garden and the twins crawling on the grass, he knew it all made sense. Marcus, what a wonderful party you've organized, said Patrick, an old friend who had once doubted his choices. It seems you've figured it out after all. Family is the most precious thing. Marcus smiled, shaking Patrick's hand. The truth is, I owe so much to Sophia, he admitted, glancing lovingly at his wife in the distance. Without her, I wouldn't have found this path. Patrick nodded in agreement. She's incredible, and what you two have built together really shows the power of love. We can all see it now. Marcus's parents, who had often been critical in the past, approached their son that day with genuine smiles. "We're so proud of you, son," his mother said, her eyes shining with tears. "What you and Sophia have created here is truly inspiring." Hearing this, Sophia joined them, gently letting go of past grievances. "Thank you," she said, her voice sincere. "We wanted this home to reflect the love we've always wanted to share." As the sun began to set, the mansion radiated warmth. Soft music played as children laughed and adults engaged in lively conversations. Once cold and intimidating, the house had become a home filled with love and joy. Later, as the party wound down, Marcus and Sophia stepped away from the crowd to find a quiet moment together. Under a large tree in the garden, they sat with Liam asleep nearby and the twins nestled in their arms. "This is the home I always dreamed of, Sophia," Marcus said, his voice emotional. "And it's all because of you." Sophia smiled, gently touching his hand. "We built this together, Marcus, and continuing to grow our family will only make us stronger." He pulled her into an embrace, overwhelmed with gratitude. "I never imagined something like this could actually happen. I feel complete. The strength we need to face any challenge is right here, in us." Their eyes met, and the love they shared was deeper and more resilient than any obstacle they had faced. In each other's gaze, they saw a future filled with promises, memories to create, and stories to tell. As night fell over the mansion, now a symbol of love and renewal, Marcus and Sophia sat together, cradling their sleeping children. "Do you remember when we thought everything was lost?" Sophia asked softly, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "Yes, and to think I almost let that become our reality," Marcus replied, his voice reflective. "But what matters is that we found our way back to each other. And now, with our family, we are truly whole." They sat in peaceful silence for a while, enjoying the calmness surrounding them. Finally, Marcus spoke again, his voice full of promise. "I vow to love and support you, Sophia, and our children, every step of the way." Sophia rested her head on his shoulder, feeling safe and cherished. "And I promise the same, Marcus, always." As the night deepened, they remained under the tree, wrapped in a quiet connection full of meaning. The same starry sky that had witnessed their struggles now shone down on their triumphs. With one final glance at each other, they stepped back into their transformed home, knowing that every wall and room told the story of the love and determination they had built together. Together, they prepared to welcome a new dawn, confident, united, and ready to make every day an inspiring chapter in their life. The story of Sophia and Marcus is proof that in marriage, caring is not enough. We need to give each other trust. That is what will bind the relationship firmly, creating strength to overcome any challenge. Thank you for following this story. For more meaningful stories, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. See you again in the next stories.